A huge decision you will make immediately in Baldur's Gate 3 is the race you want to play. And with so many options in Baldur's Gate 3, and with so many sub-races in Dungeons & Dragons, and available in Baldur's Gate 3, it can be confusing. Remember that in Baldur's Gate 3, you can choose any race with any class you want, and it will work. You can make it work. But of course, some races are just going to naturally be better as certain classes because of their stats and boosts and things that they get. So today, let's take a quick look at every race in Baldur's Gate 3, what their best classes are, and their subclasses. Remember, you can use the chapters I've included to skip to a specific race if you want below, or listen to them all and decide which race is best for you and your class in Baldur's Gate 3 by watching it all. Let's go. So first up is the Dragonborn, my favorite Baldur's Gate 3 race. Now, the Dragonborn in Baldur's Gate 3 are a draconic humanoid, and they have various breath weapons, depending on the color that they are and the resistances against that type of magic. So, for example, if you pick a red Dragonborn, you're going to be able to breathe fire, and you're going to be resistant to fire. A green Dragonborn is going to breathe poison and be resistant to poison, and so on and so forth. The Dragonborn subraces are the colors of their skin. So the subraces for Dragonborn are red, green, blue, black, white, gold, silver, bronze, copper, and brass. Dragonborn also get a boost to charisma and strength, which is great for fighter-type classes, but also a boon for charisma-based spellcasters. So for Dragonborns, I would absolutely recommend Paladin, which is exactly what I plan to be, a Dragonborn Paladin, or you can be a Warlock, a Barbarian, or a Fighter. All of those options should be really great for the Dragonborn. Now remember though, you can pick any class with the Dragonborn that you want. Now the Githyanki. Now the Gith come from the astral plane and are known to be hunters of mind flayers, which is why you see them chasing them in the opening of the game. So long ago, the mind flayers had enslaved the Gith, but they made a deal with the dragon god Tiamat to escape, and now ride atop red dragons to hunt down the mind flayers. Gith are known to make great fighters, but they also get some intelligence bonuses as well. So warlocks or wizards are not off the table. Giths do get psionic as a racial ability, which means they can cast Mage Hand as a cantrip, and they can do Misty Step at level 5. The Gith are very proficient in light and medium armor, short and long swords, and great swords. So for the Gith in Baldur's Gate 3, I would recommend the fighter, wizard, or the warlock. Now for elves, the elves of Baldur's Gate 3 have two subraces, the High Elf and the Wood Elf. The High Elf is the more magical and intelligent and wise race, whereas the Wood Elves are more forest-dwelling hunters. The great dexterity means that elves can be great for a wide variety of classes, but for High Elves, it's the intelligence boost that makes them excellent wizards. The wisdom boost for Wood Elves makes them good at divine spellcasting. So elves also do get dark vision, which is excellent for dark caves, being able to see up to 18 meters, even in complete darkness. They also get a boost to perception with keen sense, and due to Fey ancestry, the elves are difficult to charm, and they are proficient with long swords, long and short bows. So for the High Elf, I suggest the Wizard, or even a Rogue, or the Wood Elf, I suggest the Ranger, Rogue, Monk, Cleric, or the Bard. Now for Gnomes. Gnomes in Baldur's Gate 3 are short but energy-filled creatures that have three subraces: the Deep Gnomes, the Forest Gnomes, and the Rock Gnomes. Now the Deep Gnomes come from the Underdark and are great at stealth. The Rock Gnomes are keen with technology and building, while the Forest Gnomes are one with nature. So all Gnomes get an intelligence boost, making them excellent wizards. The Deep Gnome is suited well for rogues, and the Forest Gnome comes with a built-in feature to talk to animals. Gnomes do get a +2 to intelligence. They get an advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws. Gnomes do have a penalty to movement, however, and they just can't travel as far per turn as other races, and that's because of their short little legs. The Deep Gnome gets superior dark vision, better than even the elves, being able to see 24 meters in darkness, and they get camouflage, making them hard to spot on stealth checks. Now the Forest Gnome gets regular dark vision to see 12 meters and can speak to animals once per long rest. The Rock Gnome gets regular dark vision as well to see 12 meters in Artificer's Lore, which is a bonus to history checks. So the Deep Gnome makes an excellent rogue or wizard, the Forest Gnome makes an excellent rogue, wizard, or druid, and the Rock Gnome makes an excellent wizard. Now on to Half-Orcs. So Half-Orcs in Baldur's Gate 3 are known as berserky type warriors, great for frontline combat, hitting hard and very strength based. They get Savage Attack, which means when you get a critical hit, instead of rolling double dice, you get to roll triple dice. They also get Relentless Endurance, so when they take enough damage to die, they instead, once per long rest, get back 1 hit point, so they get to cheat death once per long rest. Because of the savage nature of the orc and their high strength, I recommend half-orcs to be fighters, barbarians, paladins, monks, or clerics. Now, tieflings are born from mortals who made a pact with the devil in Baldur's Gate 3. They are oftentimes treated badly because of this, but in reality, tieflings are not evil. They can be good, they can be bad, that's up to you. The interesting thing about tieflings is that their subraces depend on what archdevil they are connected to. So they are Asmodeus tieflings, Zeriel tieflings, or Mephistopheles tieflings. All tieflings get a boost to charisma. They all get dark vision to see 12 meters in darkness. They get hellish resistance, which allows them to only take half damage from fire. And their sub-races each have their own boons as well. So the Asmodeus tieflings get +1 to intelligence, and they also get Asmodeus spellcasting, which means they can cast Thaumaturgy as a cantrip. They also get Hellish Rebuke after level 3 and Darkness after level 5. Zeriel tieflings get +1 to strength, Zeriel spellcasting, which means they can cast Thaumaturgy as a cantrip, and Searing Smite at level 3, and Branding Smite at level 5. Now the Mephistopheles tieflings get +1 to intelligence, they get Mephistopheles spellcasting, which means they can cast Mage Hand as a cantrip. They also get Burning Hands at level 3, and Flame Blade at level 5. So for the different tieflings, I recommend Asmodeus tieflings, sorcerers, bards, or wizards, the Zeriel tieflings, paladin, bard, or warlock, and the Mephistopheles tiefling, bard, warlock, or sorcerer. Now, halflings are basically hobbits. They love the simpler things in life, such as good ale, dance, and food. They come in 2 sub-races, the Lightfoots and the Stronghearts. The Lightfoots move quietly and are known to be travelers, whereas the Stronghearts are tough and more willing to fight up front. All halflings do get a bonus to dexterity, and they get lucky, meaning if you roll a nat 1, you can re-roll and take the next roll. They also get brave, which is an advantage to saving throws from being frightened. They do get a penalty to movement, however, due to their short, cute little legs. Lightfoots get a +1 to charisma and a proficiency in stealth. Stronghearts get a +1 to constitution and Strongheart resilience, which is an advantage on poison saving throws and a resistance to poison damage. For halflings, I recommend that Lightfoots go for rogues, bards, warlocks, or sorcerers, and Stronghearts can go for more like wizards, rogues, rangers, even a fighter, and definitely a monk. Dwarves. So dwarves are rough and tumble miners and warriors, very set in their tradition, and one of the greatest races ever invented, let's be honest. With Baldur's Gate 3, we're getting the sub-race of dwarves called the Dwargar, which were captured by the Mind Flayers and experimented on in the Underdark. But there's also the Gold Dwarf and the Shield Dwarves as well. So dwarves have 3 sub-races in Baldur's Gate 3. Dwarves are sturdy, making them excellent tanks. The Gold Dwarf does get the Wisdom boost, making them excellent spellcasters. And the dwarves, overall, they're very versatile. All dwarves get a +2 to Constitution, Dwarven Resilience, which is advantage on poison saving throws, and resistance to poison damage. They also get Dark Vision to see up to 18 meters, just like an elf, and they're proficient with battle axes, hand axes, light, and warhammers. But dwarves do have a penalty to move speed because of their short, stocky little legs. The Dwargar, we don't know a lot about at the time of this recording for me to give good info for, but I'm going to do my best. Here are the recommendations for classes for the dwarves. The Shield Dwarf, I recommend Paladin, Fighter, or Barbarian. For the Gold Dwarf, I recommend Cleric, Druid, Monk, or Ranger. And for the Dwargar, I'm going to recommend Sorcerer or Warlock. Now for the Drow. The Drow are elves who changed in the Underdark by the spider goddess Lolth. They swear allegiance to Lolth, but there are some who have broken away from her. These are how there are two types of Drow. You've got the Lolth sworn Drow, and you have the Seldarine Drow. Although there is no big change in how the races play, you will see different dialogue and roleplay depending on which one you choose. The Drow have the best dark vision as they are attuned for the Underdark and get a bump in dexterity and charisma. So Drows get +2 to dexterity, +1 to charisma. They get Fey Ancestry, meaning they get advantage against being charmed and cannot be put to sleep through magical means. They are proficient with the rapier, short sword, and hand crossbow. They also get Drow spellcasting, so they can cast Dancing Lights as a cantrip. They get Fairy Fire at level 3 and Darkness at level 5. They also get Superior Dark Vision, able to see up to 24 meters. So the best dark vision in the game. With all this in mind for classes, I suggest either Drow can be best at Sorcerers, Wizards, Bards, or Rogues. Now for the Half-Elf. Now the Half-Elves are half human, half elf. Now depending on what type of elf their parent was, will be their subclass. Because they are half human, they're very versatile in class options, and honestly, a half-elf can be good at any class you want them to be. But the bump in charisma helps with classes like Sorcerer, Bards, or Warlocks, and half-elves are great picks if you want that freedom, but don't want to be a human. All half-elves get +2 to charisma, +2 ability score points to be spent however you want. They also get Fey Ancestry, which is an advantage against being charmed and can't be put to sleep through magical means. They also get Dark Vision to see up to 12 meters in darkness. Now, let's talk about the subclasses. The Drow half-elves get Drow spellcasting, which means Dancing Lights as a cantrip, Fairy Fire at level 3, and Darkness at level 5. High half-elves get 1 wizard cantrip choice. Wood half-elves get Fleet of Foot, which is a movement speed increase, and Mask of the Wild, which gives proficiency to stealth. That the Drow half-elf be a sorcerer, warlock, or bard. The Wood half-elf be a rogue, warlock, sorcerer, ranger, or bard. Now for humans. Okay, look, I don't need to describe what a human is, but in Baldur's Gate 3, they are very versatile, meaning they get a +1 to every ability. They really are just whatever you want them to be. It's completely up to you if you choose a human, so go wild and pick whatever class you want. It really doesn't matter. And these are all of the race options and what I believe to be the best class options for each race, plus the bonuses and everything we know about each race. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please comment down below, what race class combo are you thinking? Or what are some of the options you're kind of tossing around in your mind that you're not sure? What sub-race are you going with? Let me know all the details of what you plan on playing in Baldur's Gate 3 down below. I love reading about it. I love seeing what you guys are planning to build. So let me know, even if it's off the wall or if you disagree with some of the recommendations, please throw them down below. I'm not perfect. I'm sure you're thinking of some things I haven't thought of. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you want more content. There'll be a lot of Baldur's Gate 3 content here on the channel. And until next time, my friends, God bless and happy gaming. I want to give a very special thank you to the members of Napalm for your contributions month over month in keeping me full-time. You help me pay the bills so I can keep streaming and pumping out content, and I truly appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. And I think you might be interested in becoming a member of the channel. Please click the join button down below the video for more information and join our family. And I want to give an extremely big shout out to the Lords of Napalm: Bounty Code, Jared Woodhouse, Daimlos, Farthest Reach, Sparrow, Christopher Hensel, Random Rob, Zelik Lived, Rodney Mom, Vander, Gallery Moonsong, What's the Takeaway, Trips, Bad Wolf Gaming, Richard Glass, Chrono Guru, Kobold, and the Cyber Nomad Witcher. Thank you for your highest tier membership.